everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're going to be talking about... what did we decide about? What was that again?
We're going to be talking about why people leave church.
Or at least why churchy people
Why
think.
churchy people think we left them.
Yeah, that's...
It's cute.
It's
adorable.
downright... Oh, you just want to squeeze their cheeks.
Oh,
Those old saggy cheeks. Let me squeeze them. Wrinkly, scraggy cheeks. Oh, you're just adorable, you old fucking fuck of a man.
disgusting turds. Anyway, but before we get to that, we have other things to discuss.
We do indeed, Dan. What have you got?
You remember that state, Texas? You remember them?
Oh?
This actually came. Mackenzie posted this, so that's how I first became aware of this.
Oh, okay.
A new bill has made it to the floor of the Senate in Texas.
Oh. And they've got one of those batshit crazy legislatures, don't they?
Well, I don't know.
Kind of like ours. Where it's just like you just expect the worst.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
brace
Texas.
yourself.
It's Texas.
It's going to be bad, people.
It doesn't matter that the legislature's based in Austin. It's still Texas. Here's what this one says. You know, they have a very valid concern, which is that people keep getting abortions, mostly women.
Yeah.
That's the real problem zone.
Well, yeah, because if it was men getting abortions,
Then it'd be
they'd
fine.
be bragging about it.
Right, exactly.
Man, that abortion.
No one would be trying to take it away.
That was an extreme abortion.
Dude, you can't make me have this baby, man. I can't. I've got, like, practice. I've got, like, sports ball to play and stuff. I can't have a baby right now. I think I'm just going to kill it. Everybody be like, cool, man.
Yeah.
But it keeps happening to women, and so that's the problem. Anywho, the Texas Senate, the Committee on State Affairs has now unanimously passed the bill to the floor. This particular bill, the goal of it is to protect doctors who don't like the fact that they have to tell women about possible defects with their baby. Oh. Because those women might go out and have an abortion.
Oh, dear God.
So this one... No. This bill, should it pass, would theoretically allow doctors to either not inform a woman of health problems with their baby or lie to a woman basically...
So this is like a fetal privacy act? Protecting the privacy of the fetus?
Right? Something along those lines.
Wow, that's...
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's basically... It's kind of fun if doctors get to lie to us about stuff. Like, who knows what you could have? Who knows what anybody could... It could be... It could be a madhouse.
Tell us, doctor, is it a boy or a girl? I'm not saying.
That is none of your business. You mind your goddamn business, lady, and just have that baby.
Because if I tell you it's a girl and you really want a boy, you might go abort it.
I am not going to tell you anything about this. You are not pregnant. You just sit there and don't drink.
Take these vitamins.
For 6 more months.
Just don't ask questions.
Don't do anything. Yeah.
Shh. You may or may not have a baby in you.
Right.
I'm not telling you.
If you start to get bigger, you just keep doing it.
It may or may not be a tumor, to be honest.
Right. I will tell you.
You may or may not have gestational diabetes. I'm not going to tell you.
You are on a need-to-know basis, lady. It is so weird. Like, you can't, like, man... Apparently, it's such a big deal, this whole abortion thing.
Oh, it's just awful.
How many doctors are there who are so desperate to stop abortions? There's got to be some, I guess.
There'd have to be.
But doctors
come from all backgrounds.
Yeah, but they went through medical school. They know.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, isn't it, though?
And there's this whole, ethics thing that they're supposed to do. I don't know if you've heard of this, but
again, what about
the Lord's ethics?
The baby?
What about the Lord's ethics?
And what about the Lord? What would Jesus tell this pregnant woman?
How would Jesus doctor
her?
That's what we need to ask.
Defective fetus.
Right. So you have to give birth to this fetus that
any number of issues,
including possible inviability.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Good job, everybody. Great job, team.
It just makes me so angry. Like, I can't really think about it. Like, I really can't. Like, if I really start to just think about what the Texas state legislature or any number of just lunatic run legislatures in this country, it starts to see that comes up from really, really deep. And then I'm just like yelling at people at work.
Yeah.
Instead of being a nice person at work. All of a sudden, nobody wants to be around Frank.
Oh, shit. Frank was thinking about something, you guys. Avoid him with all your might. Don't talk to Frank. Somebody brought something up and he thought about it.
Oh, it's just awful. I hate it. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
While we're at it, with
delightful
fetuses.
Things to think about,
let's just transition to another fetus story.
Okay.
Fetus and young kids, toddlers.
Oh, good. Really. Oh, great. How exciting.
Who, it's not, I don't know that I want to accuse the Holy Sisters of the Bon Secours mother and baby home in Tuam?
I don't know where that is.
I don't know. It's in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
So it could be anything.
Yeah.
Those letters could be making any sounds that I just don't know. It's
pronounced Dublin.
That's not how you spell Dublin. They have found the remains of countless, at this point, I think there is a number, but it's a lot, of fetuses and 2 to 3 year olds in basically a sewage chamber is what it's calling it. It sounds like a giant septic tank. It's a 20-chamber sewage tank that's designed for the treatment and dispersal of apparently a large amount of sewage, but also
and children
and small children at one of these like Catholic nun-run homes for, the recently knocked up
discardable babies.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there was such shame about, being a teen pregnant, girl, a pregnant teen girl, that in Ireland, that these girls were just sent off to these homes, right?
Right. But no, wait a minute.
Now that you're Dan.
Yeah.
What are you trying to make sense of here? This doesn't make sense to you?
Okay.
That there would just be countless
no, wait,
countless fetuses and toddlers.
Does countless mean 20 or does countless mean like 100? What does countless mean?
It doesn't really. Oh no, here. 800 children died in the home.
800 children. Yeah. No, you're saying children. That's not like all fetuses. Like
that's what I was saying. Fetuses and toddlers.
If it's fetuses, like that's one thing. If these were just like stillbirths or abortions, but you're saying that there were alive children who had toddled about and then were somehow they flushed them? How do you even do that?
Well, this doesn't sound like this was like connected to toilets or
I feel like they just flushed them
or garbage disposals.
It's like when your goldfish dies and you're just like, what do you do? Just flush it.
They had a giant toilet.
They had one
toddler would fit down.
Let's put them in the big toilet. Let's just
everybody say a prayer and watch little Timmy.
I mean,
circle the basin for a minute.
Of all the groups in the universe to have any kind of disrespect for any version of human life.
Oh, you mean the Catholic Church?
I might mean the Catholic Church,
which I have heard the phrase unimpeachable on life.
Right, yeah, right.
Used to describe the Catholic Church. Unimpeachable. I, sir, impeach you.
I should impeach. That is not. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah. So the commission that's investigating has not yet decided whether, or they're saying that it's not clear if this set of chambers was ever used for sewage or wastewater. It's quite
good.
possible.
Thank God it's just for the disposal of babies.
That they had some sort of sewage-like system installed, right, to hide the fact or to make it more easy to dispose of these bodies.
God.
So that they didn't have to, like, dig a mass grave, right? They just walked down a little small set of stairs, took the body back to some chamber, and chucked it in with the rest.
I mean, I want to make jokes, but I can't because I can't think of anything. How do you make a joke about?
Well, I find
that's just horrific.
I find that funny, Dan, because I said I had a story that I didn't know how to make jokes about. And and you said, "Oh, I'll find a way."
Yeah, I didn't see this coming. I'll be honest, didn't see it coming. 800 fucking
and that's the thing, like you have to think about
that's an impressive figure. How did they even get that?
And this world, right, where there were no questions asked. These girls were so fully whisked away. Did you see the Philomena? Yeah, right. It's like that, right? Whisked away, and nobody cared. Nobody really truly cared.
Well, they didn't want to know.
Yeah.
I get that. But I also get...
So what happened to the kids? They could have been adopted to America, or they could have just been thrown into a sewage chamber.
Like, why were they dying? That's what I want to know. Like, you know, you get one or two... You get a couple stillbirths. You get a couple of
the toddlers.
But why were these little people dying? I mean, that's got to be neglect, right? That's got to be abuse.
Either neglect or abuse. One of the two. Like actual physical abuse,
right.
Not just...
Or a brilliant combination of both.
Or there was just some sociopathic nun.
Just murdering?
Yeah. Some psychopath.
And all these other lovely... Like, there's one nun in the group. All the other nuns are like, well, we can't figure out what happened to Paddy. I don't understand it.
Right.
The last time I saw him, he was running around free as a bird.
Or they were just protecting Sister Mary.
Right.
Because they had to protect the convent.
Right. I mean...
You know what I mean?
The truth... Yeah. There's some evil in that shit.
Oh, yeah, this is bad.
That's a Holocaust. That is a...
Of sorts.
Yeah. Holy God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't worry, Planned Parenthood are the real bad guys.
Yeah.
So we're in good shape now. Okay, well, great. I'm depressed. I'm going to move us on.
I knew I could do it.
In Brisbane, Australia, I swiped this off of somebody posted this in the members only lounge. Brisbane, Australia, there was an interesting thing that happened on Ash Wednesday. There was vandalism of a Christian war memorial. A big cross with a sword on it. As a symbol of war.
Okay.
You know, so this is
imagine this. Okay.
War memorial. Well, it was vandalized.
How? Okay.
The sword was pulled from the stone, as it were.
Did they crown a new king?
This new criminal. The really weird part about this is that it was other Christians vandalizing this thing.
What?
Because they believe that that it is a desecration of Jesus's legacy to have a sword on there.
What?
Jesus, they quote the Bible verse that says, "Turn your swords to plowshares," meaning, you know, bend them into things that can be used for the land or whatever.
Right.
It's a nice metaphor, you know.
Sure.
Make food, not war, sort of thing.
These not always practical, but okay.
These guys did it. They pulled the sword down and brought with them an anvil so that they could hammer the fucker into a hoe, essentially.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. When asked why their desecration of a holy monument was different from that of, say, the Taliban's,
Right.
they said, we're Christian. We're not attacking another religion.
We're attacking our own.
We're attacking our own. People aren't Christianing right, so we're going to fix it.
Isn't that what the Taliban is doing?
No, they attack, big Buddha statues.
They do that, but they also attack their own.
They do also do that.
They kind of destroyed their own country.
Yeah. Yep. If you don't, if you don't Islam the way we want you to Islam, we're going to get you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you don't Christian the way we want you to Christian.
Yeah. I mean, these people are just one step away from finding a Buddhist shrine to destroy.
Yeah. But that one step is a pretty long one because they're probably going to go to jail. Well, or at least be made to pay a lot of money. They
should be a combination of the two.
Yeah. They did. Here's the thing: they did it. They did it in full view. They did it in broad daylight. They made videos of it. They posted
plenty of evidence.
They copped to it because they're doing it right.
Oh God, these people.
The Brisbane Lord Mayor Graham Quirk, Graham Quirk, by the way, one of the better names of all time. Go Mayor Quirk. I just love the last name Quirk.
Graham Quirker.
Graham Quirk.
Graham Cracker. Graham.
It
wasn't there.
You're stretching for it, but I don't think he made it. Apparently, he's outraged. He's described the perpetrators as the lowest of the low, which, you know what? They're not. When they start throwing babies into the sewer, that's when they're the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
At this point, they're just attacking a monument.
Yeah.
So
no affront on humanity.
Right, exactly.
Really.
By the way, the war memorial at Tu Wong, which
what's wrong with this town?
Has only one meaning in my life. It's that drag movie starring all those butch men. Spelled Toowong, and I didn't even bother to Google what that was. I just like that there's a war memorial to Wong Fu.
Yeah, Tu Wong.
To Wong Fu.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
What else you got?
Oh, Dan, brace yourself.
What again?
This is the brace yourself episode.
Jesus Christ!
Oh my God. No, actually, this one is it's good.
Oh,
it's good. Ultimately, at the end of the day, brace yourself for.
We're gonna go on a roller coaster
heavy
ride.
Topic. Decent thing happens.
Okay. Good outcome.
An Irish Catholic woman.
That already makes me nervous.
Boy, I know. It's starting bad. By the name of Marie Collins.
Okay.
She was she is an abuse survivor.
Okay.
Who was on the Pope's commission that was working to sort of reform and sort of the Catholic hierarchy and whatnot. It was the Pontifical Commission for the Protection of Minors.
Okay.
This was set up by Francis about 3 years ago. Actually, exactly 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And with this task of finding the problems, sniffing them out, and reform and changing the structures of the church, right? Wherever it needed to happen.
Okay.
Right? To protect the children, right?
Great.
Well, after 3 years of being on the commission and the sole abuse survivor left on the commission, she has resigned.
Oh, no.
Because of the shameful, quote, shameful resistance within the Vatican. That the Curia itself and the men who surround the Pope have made it far too difficult to actually get anything done. And
they don't want to get something done
during all of this time. And here's the real shame for Pope Francis.
Right.
Because there is some shame here for him. You could say that the Curia is just strong and powerful, and he's fighting against it too. She never even had an opportunity to see the Pope. And she's on his commission.
No, she's a woman. Why would he listen to her?
A non-nun woman?
Right.
How dare she?
Why would she listen to... why would he listen to someone on his commission who has experience with the thing that commission is supposed to be studying? Why would he listen to that person?
Never.
Ridiculous.
Never. Marie Collins.
Oh, my God.
But good. She stood up for it. She's getting some press and some attention because of it.
Yeah.
And she looks like it. She's a tough lady.
I mean,
look at her. That's a likable face, but that's a serious tough face.
She's not fucking around.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. It's more evidence that this immensely likable Pope, and I find him immensely likable.
As a public persona?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All fucking words. There is fucking, like, he says a lot of words that I like a lot.
Yeah.
But when it comes time for any action, every time I look for it,
he hasn't changed the church.
He's done nothing.
Yeah.
He's the goddamn Pope.
Yeah.
Don't tell me the Curia is powerful. There's a Pope.
Right. I've watched The Young Pope. I know
you need to stop referencing the Young Pope because that is not real.
I get it. There are powerful people in the Vatican aside from the Pope.
Yeah.
But you get a good maverick in there.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He keeps saying shit, and then the Vatican, as though that's a person,
right,
keeps saying, well, what he meant was ...
Right.
Well, how about he gets to say what he meant?
And how about who the hell doesn't think that this institution needs some reform on this issue?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Set aside all other issues.
Go
folks.
ahead and deny it.
You can be whatever fucking church you want to be, but this fucking issue, why are you blocking it?
It's the one thing we can all agree you need to change.
Yeah. And the fact that you can't agree to it makes me suspicious about the higher ranks of the church.
It's just pointing out that the Curia is full of diddlers.
Absolutely.
That's what we've got. We've got a Curia full of
homosexuals and diddlers.
Men who have done horrific things to children. Yeah. That's what we've got.
Yeah. You can pick homosexual, you can pick diddler, and there's probably some combination of the two.
Yeah. That's what you got in there.
Yeah.
Bunch of...
And every once in a while, a straight man who also has lots of sex.
Oh, yeah, with women.
Yeah.
With adult women.
Yeah.
But, yeah, still...
But they're all corrupt, is my point. They're all sexually screwed up.
Screwed up. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
As a former Mormon, I know, and I think I think a lot of our listeners can back me up on this, it is unhealthy to repress your sexuality. It leads down... Now, fortunately, it didn't lead down any, like, super deviant roads for me.
No.
It just kind of made me a little bit messed up about sex for a while.
Screwy.
A little screwy about sex for a minute.
Yeah.
Took me a while to get out of that.
Well, we heard on our last episode how much you were grabbing boobs. Just God. Willy-nilly.
Well, nilly more than willy. Indeed. Anyhow,
he wasn't, people, in case you missed last episode. He wasn't.
No.
I just felt like...
Well, I mean, I was, but yeah.
But it was consensual.
Yes, I was grabbing women's boobs who were allowing it. Which was, every single time was amazing to me. Every single time a woman consented to let me grab her boobs, I thought a miracle had happened. I still kind of do. I still kind of love it. It's just this amazing thing. I've been married for all these years. I'm like, she's still letting me touch them. Anyway, I'm going to take us to Jerusalem. We've talked about this before. We've talked about the fact that non-Orthodox Jews sometimes believe that women are okay people too.
Non-Orthodox. Yes.
They sometimes believe that women count as humans.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes.
But the Orthodox ones.
The Orthodox ones, not so much. And in Jerusalem and in Israel, it's the Orthodox Jews that are in charge of all of the things.
Oh, yeah.
In this case, specifically, the Western Wall, the Wailing Wall, is, I believe it is sometimes known, the wall where people go and pray at bricks, which is really important, or stones, really. Very important, very holy place. And the Orthodox Jews are very upset because women keep praying at the damned wall.
Oh, no.
Now, I'll remind our listeners that there's only one small section where women are even allowed to go to the wall.
Okay.
It's not... They've got their own segregated thing because, God forbid, one of these ultra-Orthodox men should have to, like, be next to a woman. I mean, we've seen what happens when
Quite literally, God forbid.
Literally, God has forbidden it.
Yes.
It's not okay. And the result of this has been some pretty comical stuff. Like, did you ever see the picture?
Plastic bag guy on the plane.
Yeah, the guy that covered himself in plastic. He bagged himself
Right.
on an airplane because he knew he was going to have to sit next to some woman.
It was some sort of like social condom.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, they came up so these ultra orthodox fellers came up with a very smart way to prevent some liberal women folk from praying at the wall.
Uh-oh.
They bust in a couple thousand Orthodox girls from schools around the country.
Okay.
And had them take up all of the space at the women's part of the wall.
And said, don't one of you dare pray.
Don't pray.
Stand here.
You stand there, and then so they did. They stood there,
These
and
guys are assholes.
some of them turned around and screamed at the other women, and blew whistles at the other women who were trying to pray.
Makes it harder to pray when somebody's blowing a whistle in your face.
Blowing the whistles. Yeah, so what a lovely culture war you guys have going on there in Israel. Wow. Delightful. Yeah.
Absurd.
Thousands of girls they've trucked in to prevent the other women.
Oh, it's just these guys are just dicks.
Now here's the amazing thing. Here's what I just read.
Like that's a dick move.
The teens,
and are they just going to keep these girls there all the time?
Well, I think it was for
a special holy day,
a special something or other. But here's the really fun part. The little teens were quietly praying.
No.
Maybe to themselves. Maybe it's a different kind of praying.
Maybe they weren't,
but
doing the normal kind of praying that one does at the wall.
It does seem a little strange that, like, to prevent women from praying at the wall, they trucked in a bunch of women to pray at the wall.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I also just love, like, you and I are atheists. We don't believe in the power of any kind of prayer. But go ahead and do it to an inanimate object. Direct it, get close to a wall and pray. That's so much better.
No, it makes
a lot
no
of
sense.
It makes no sense. It makes a lot.
I was gonna say no, it doesn't.
I feel like a wall, it's like a prayer amplifier so that God hears it better.
Well, if it was like one of those like arch things, like you visit like a state capitol and they're always really proud of like the whisper arch,
the dome.
Whatever. Yeah, and if you stand here, okay, you stand on the other side, right, and I'm gonna whisper.
Oh my God, I can hear you.
Oh my goodness, like it's like that, but with God.
And
he never says anything back though.
And it's a wall.
So you don't know if you got it quite, if you're standing quite in the right place.
Yeah, so you need to pray at different parts of the wall to really make sure that it goes straight up to Jesus. Not Jesus,
to the right
sorry,
place.
to God.
Hashem.
To Elohim. To whatever. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
there's more.
There's more.
Dan, there's more.
I'm used to you going first. You've gone first the last few times.
I know.
It's fine.
But I've got something so
Please.
good, I had to just make sure that it was last.
Good.
Have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Greg Locke? Pastor Greg Locke of certain nominal YouTube fame.
He's come into a bit of spotlight recently.
Yes,
this week.
Yes, in fact, he is absolutely pissed off. So he gets on to the YouTubes, and he's one of these guys. He speaks into the camera and he rants and he raves about his little Christian-y
It's very important
things,
stuff.
right? Last year, he was one of the people who kind of got a little bit of attention because of the whole Target's transgender inclusive bathroom policy came up.
He was very much in favor of it, right?
No, he hated it. Hated it. One of the things he said about that was, what you are targeting are perverts, pedophiles, people who are going to hurt our children, right? So he's one of these really well-informed, open-minded, accepting Christians.
Sure.
Right? He's also got some serious gay face going on. I just want to say that.
What?
Okay, he has this picture, openly, he's wearing a t-shirt, openly Christian, right? And his mouth is sort of mid-sibilant S.
Oh.
Right? Like, just look at that.
Look at how he's holding that jacket. His pinkies are out.
His pinkies are totally out. He's sort of daintily handling sort of the edges.
He's openly Christian and closeted gay.
And then there's this other picture, like that's a gay face. I just don't know how else to say it.
Oh my God. I just did a Google image search.
Yeah.
And homeboy is homo. That's all I'm going to say. Like, he tries to get all tough in a few of these pictures.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he, that's what they taught him at the conversion therapy place.
I'm sorry.
You got to be
I'm just
tough.
going to pull this up because there's a screen cap where he is 100% no, girl, you did not just say that.
It's true. Well, anyway, he's trudged out onto the internet again.
Okay.
This time he's pissed off because somebody donated to Planned Parenthood in his name.
Oh.
And so he got, when you donate to, nonprofit, they then send you a thank you letter, right? And it's kind of for your taxes. You set it aside, you save it, whatever. But anyway, so he gets on to YouTube and is so fucking pissed off about this. And every single story I found about it, the top comment was, what, he wants us to donate in his name? This is the quickest way to get more donations in your name, is to go on and announce this happened and you're pissed off about it.
Right, exactly.
Because that's how the internet works, right?
Yeah.
And this article, which was in the New York Daily News, starts with just this one 3-word sentence in the first paragraph. This might backfire. And then it goes into the story. And I thought that was rather funny.
Yeah.
He says that Planned Parenthood is a wicked mess. There's never been an organization in the world that has killed more innocent people, other than apparently that convent in Ireland.
Right.
Other than radical Islam.
Oh.
Than that of Planned Parenthood.
Wow. Yeah. They're, you hear that all the time, and that's fine. And I love that, any chance he's getting some publicity out of this, that's fine. But any chance anybody, any excuse you find to donate to Planned Parenthood, just do that,
please.
If you pick a name and do it in his name,
that's gonna piss someone off.
He's gonna, it's. Or, in the name of a pastor in your community that you hate.
This is also something he said in the video. It was absolutely a waste of your money. And the stamp was an absolute waste of your money as well.
Or the stamp to send him the thank you.
Yeah. Don't ever send me any more nonsense from Planned Parenthood. I don't want my name associated with this wicked mess.
Oh, Greggy Poo. That's all your name is associated with forever.
He's an angry, angry Christian.
The whole thing that from now on, your name will never come up on the internet without Planned Parenthood directly next to it.
Planned Parenthood, Pastor Greg Locke and Planned Parenthood supporter.
Right. Oh, cute little gay boy. So sad that he can't come out of that closet.
Oh,
don't you feel bad for him?
I do. I feel a little bad for him.
He's got to rage at the rest of the world because he can't bear to tell his mom.
It's that weird,
or his dad that he's
I don't
gay.
get what his smile is doing. It's just like, it's like cheek, just this cheek to cheek like desperate smile.
I'm just going to point out, like, Homeboy's pocket square game is on point.
He does the pocket square.
He likes to...
he likes getting all dressed up.
He does. I mean, God, you're very gay, young man.
Yeah.
You need to come out of that closet and stop messing with the ladies and their health care.
Yeah. Leave them alone. Focus on the boys.
Let me tell you something. The second you do come out of the closet and, like, just own your own shit,
right,
you'll be so much happier about the whole world. The Planned Parenthood won't bother you. The trans people in the bathroom, you'll actually realize that there's no danger there.
Right.
You'll be so much happier. Yeah. You'll have a lot less to rant about, which is sad. But
everybody loves a good rant. No, actually, he'll rant about the service at brunch.
He'll that's true. He'll have plenty to rant about. He'll rant about, like,
this mimosa. The ratio on this mimosa is completely wrong.
Oh my God! Did you hear the DJ at Club Med the other night? It was so bad.
There's just too much orange juice in my mimosa.
Hey, wait a minute. That's not a gay rant. That's my rant.
That's your rant, Dan.
I'm pretty gay. Let's just admit right now, in almost all of the ways, I'm pretty fucking gay. There's that whole not liking dick thing, but the rest of it, I'm pretty fucking gay. But I am insistent that the ratio of orange juice to champagne for a mimosa, it's pretty crucial. I'm just gonna say, do not put too much orange juice in that shit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to rant and rave about mimosas or about gay pastors, please feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or maybe it's Bellinis that keep getting fucked up for you. Call us and leave us a voicemail message. 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It's a closed group, but we'll let you in.
Right. And also, if you want to, feel free to donate to us. Become a patron at patreon.com in the name of Pastor Greg Locke. Well, Frank.
Dan.
I think we need a patty break.
Patty break.
We had one last week, and it felt so good. I think we need another one. Let me tell you something. He's worried about Donald.
Oh, no. What happened to Donald?
He's just worried, because some people, and this is weird, I'm not sure why, it seems impossible. Some people don't like that guy.
What? No, who?
So let me tell you something.
Who, Dan? Who?
If you're confused about why someone doesn't like someone that you do like, the best person to go to about that, to figure it out, is someone else who already agrees with you.
Oh, yeah, it will really help to they bolster your sense of dislike.
They're the ones who really know the real reason.
Oh, yeah.
Because, us liberals, we'll just give you the fake reason
why we lie to you.
Why we don't like Trump.
We'll totally lie.
But there's a good, real reason.
All right, Kathy says, why do so many hate President Trump and say everything he does is bad? I voted for him and believed he would make America great again, and he's already done that in many ways. So what is your answer as to why so many people do not support him and want him out?
There's a desire on the part of some, and I think it's satanic, it really is spiritual, to destroy America. America is the great hope of the world. If America goes down, the lamp of freedom goes out, for there's no other champion of freedom anywhere in the world. And we would be engulfed in chaos. And so we were heading that way. Obama was bringing it on, another 4 or 8 years of Obama-style government, and we would have been consumed with the socialist mentality, and the freedom that we've enjoyed would be blotted out. So God gave us a reprieve, and this thing is spiritual. It really is spiritual.
There's no other champion of freedom anywhere in the world. It's only the United States of America.
Oh, I know.
The land of...
We're fucked without it.
The land of the most incarcerations on earth is the only champion of freedom.
There are some little ironies, Dan. Nobody's saying there aren't.
He might be. Who knows?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I love this. Here, you know what? I'm going to go on a rant. I'm about to rant a
You're
little
going to
bit.
rant?
My ranting gets raves. That's a MASH joke. I just did I just stole a Hawkeye Pierce.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, here's the thing. I am done with our countrymen being made to be our enemies. We sometimes do it. I just don't want. I think we need to stop. We need to fight. The main thing we need to fight in this country is not people who oppose your own viewpoint, but the concept of someone who doesn't have your viewpoint is your enemy.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the sickness that has taken over this country. And that is what this guy is trying to do. He's literally calling people who are just politically in a different corner than him satanic. He's saying that they are spiritually trying. The narrative that he has come up with is that the people that oppose his politics are trying to destroy the country on purpose.
Right.
Not that he thinks their politics will destroy the country, but that their agenda is the destruction of the country
that they live in.
That is their home.
Right. They grew up in. It's where their families live. It's where they're trying to raise their families,
right,
potentially. And yet they want to
destroy it. Because they don't like freedom. Because only Republicans, Christian Republicans, care about freedom. Only Americans care about freedom. What the fuck is he on about? So I feel like that's the new era needs to be about embracing our countrymen. Like all of the people in the world are not your enemy.
Right.
That's just the facts.
Right.
But let's start at home and just say that someone who disagrees with you is not your fucking enemy. They are just someone who disagrees with you. And until we can see it that way, we're going to continue to be this fucked up country.
I don't know. I will say this, just as a quick little, we need to figure out what to do with this part of it, though. Because the people who would fight to take away rights of marginalized groups.
Yeah.
It does feel like this is a targeted, specific attack on people, right?
Sure.
How does that not feel like that person is your enemy?
Okay, I hear that.
Right?
I do hear
because
that.
this isn't just people who have differing fiscal policies or differing foreign policy ideas.
Right.
Right. This is actually lives being played out and hard feelings towards specific groups and mistrust of groups and actually hatred of certain groups.
100%. But to my mind, the cure for that is to find a way to convince them that these groups of people are not their enemy.
Right. But when you're on the other side,
I hear
you're
that.
you're in the marginalized group. How is that person or group of people who is actually in power and is actively pushing your group around?
I just feel like I feel like the larger campaign, and we need to continue to work for this. But it is an ideological battle. That's that's not so like the idea. I think the ideology that we need to be promoting is your countrymen are not your enemy.
Sure, and I agree that in some ways people on the right may think that it's just strictly ideological, right? But on the left, if you're a member of, if you're a gay person,
sure,
right, it doesn't feel like ideology when somebody's taking your rights away,
right? Or
because it's real.
An atheist. I mean,
right.
They're attacking. Every listener to this show
right.
is under attack too.
Right.
So yeah, I hear you.
Right.
But to tell them, fuck you, is not going to change anything. It may feel good. It may certainly be the sentiment that's in your heart.
Right.
I get that. But you're achieving nothing with it.
No, I know.
I feel I feel like the dialogue has died.
Well, yeah, the dialogue is.
And I feel like the only way to revive the dialogue is to start promoting a sense of country.
We've never had a good dialogue around these issues of marginalization in the United States. It's taken like sit-ins and freedom rides, and it's taken marches and protests. It's never been. There's been people back in the corridors of power doing the clean work, but it's taken a lot of dirty, more ugly work out in the streets and in the media to get this stuff done.
I don't disagree, and I don't know that I think that should stop.
It takes anger to get a lot of this stuff done. It takes people being pissed off.
Sure, but but by the same token, I think for someone to listen to an angry person, and not just you can force the law to change, but what changes society is dialogue. And I feel like now it's and so I feel like we still need to fight the battles that we need to fight.
Right.
But in the meantime, if I were to sully my car with a bumper sticker, it wouldn't claim any ideology beyond my countrymen are not my enemy.
Could it possibly be coexist?
No. Nope. That's not it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just pushing back on the idea, Dan. That's all I'm doing.
It's fine. I mean, you're absolutely right. There's more to it than that.
Yeah.
It's a broader problem. The sickness, I think, the real sickness that plagues us is that we can't have dialogue.
Yeah. So, if your countryman isn't your enemy, who is your enemy, Dan?
Satan. Jesus. Wait, fuck. Islam? Radical Islamic terrorism. No. God damn it. I don't know.
Couldn't we just have a dialogue?
I'll just work on it. I'm sure I have an enemy out there somewhere. Pat Robertson.
Erg. Erg. All right.
I love the idea that you have to have an enemy. What a great idea. What a fantastic... Wait.
That's how this world works.
Then who is your enemy? Wait, you're telling me I ain't got no enemies? What the hell's the point of anything now? Just walking around with, like, all friends?
Yeah.
It's the worst life I can imagine.
Gotta hate someone.
Yeah.
Gotta fear and hate someone.
Gotta do it.
How else do I know where I fit in this world?
Right, exactly. Who else am I? What am I going to yell about? If I don't hate somebody,
I need a rant on YouTube.
I gotta have an enemy. Where are you, enemy?
All right. Do we have an email?
We got some email. We got voicemail. Let's start with an email.
Yeah.
This was you and I were talking last week about sort of how the LDS Church. Remember that you did this story about the temple in Atlanta and how they're so opposed to classicism.
Right. Yeah. They're not a classicist. They're
classist
organization. At all.
No, there's no hierarchy of class in.
There's no hierarchy at all.
Oh, there's a hierarchy.
It's completely. It's just this egalitarian.
Yeah. Right. Really, really good. Yeah. This Bill wrote into us. He heard that and he wrote into us about it. I found myself screaming at my iPhone as I listened to you reading the statement from LDS Inc.
It wasn't your iPhone's fault, Bill.
It was. Screw that phone. Railing against class status regarding the Atlanta temple. As a 25-year-old hardcore Mormon construction worker, I had a chance to do some work inside the Seattle temple.
Oh.
Of course, finding construction workers with temple recommends was a bit of a trick, but I digress.
Huh.
As part of the work on the heating system, we had to go inside of each and every room in the building. I was shocked, dismayed, and bitterly disappointed to see that the office of the temple president was very swanky, while the office of his first counselor was not so much. And the office of the second counselor was just plain.
No. Come on.
I had naively thought that all the places in the world, God's holy temple would be the one place where status was not important. Oh, little Bill. Oh, little baby Bill. You should have known better.
Oh, no.
He says that tiny bit of hypocrisy was one of the first cracks in my foundation, which ultimately led to my rejection of the faith, albeit 25 years later. Thank you for your work and my weekly dose of sanity.
Oh.
Yeah.
What I actually find surprising about this is that the counselors themselves had sort of a different standard of office.
Yeah, it wasn't like,
I never thought of
it wasn't like the good office and then the two lesser offices.
Right.
It's the good office, the medium office, and you go over there, brother so-and-so.
Second counselor.
Second.
Why did we even call you to be a counselor?
You know, maybe one day, if you're good and you work hard, you can get a better office than this piece of shit right here. And if Jesus loves you.
Oh, no.
That is amazing, though. That's really funny to me.
It's really sick.
Yeah.
It's really sick.
It's like these are positions called by God, but boy, you need to feel. Well, here's the thing. All important Mormons are like former businessmen.
Oh, yeah.
And and they're all old. They're all of an era when having that corner office, having the better desk and the better chair and the more expensive everything was your sign of prestige, showed how much better you, like, it was super important to show how much better you are than the other workers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, what's funny is I guess I'd never really thought about the fact that, like, the bishop's office was nothing special.
No.
Right? It's an office with a desk. It's usually large enough. The only reason that it's large is because they have a lot of people come in for meetings.
I'm just going to interrupt to remind our listeners that a bishop in Mormonism is just sort of the head of the one small congregation.
Yeah.
It's not that it may sound like a very important position. It's not.
It's
a lay person who has been called to have another full-time job as well as their regular.
I mean, we were in a bunch of different wards through the years, different, chapels and the bishop's office was always some variation of the same thing.
Yeah.
Never really all that nice.
Even the stake president's office.
But the stake president's office, while it wasn't swanky, I wouldn't use that word to describe it.
Right.
It was definitely larger and had a little bit nicer furniture in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently you got to get up. You got to get temple level.
And it had a legitimate waiting area, if I remember right. Whereas the bishop's office never did. It had like a chair outside the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was even there.
You can see
even
it.
Just at that sort of local church hierarchy level. There were those differences.
Yeah,
that's interesting. But of course, I mean, a temple president. This is a prestigious calling.
Yeah,
like this is a really nice calling. It's like a lot of former.
Cushy.
It's totally cushy. But a lot of former general authorities, like emeritus general authorities,
sure,
or former mission presidents, that type.
Yeah.
When
you have the lay people as your clergy, like nobody goes to school for it, and you can't like aim at church work as your
as a career,
is what's
going to pay the bills.
So they got to have some sort of hierarchy to show who's favored, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
So stupid.
Anyway, all right. I have a voicemail to play. Also a response from our show last week.
Okay.
And our show a couple days ago because we were late. Now we're early getting this one out.
Yeah.
Let's hit that real quick.
Hi, Dan and Frank. My name is Susan, and I was just listening to your show where you were talking about the risen Christ. And I remember wondering the same thing about men's junk from back in the day when I had art history. And apparently the Renaissance was copying, sort of a aesthetic of the Greeks, and the Greeks felt like men with big penises were brutish and unintelligent. And so they sort of wanted their sculptures to reflect intelligence and grace, and anyone with a big penis was considered a horny loser who just didn't have any social mores or mores, or however that goes. So I thought that you might be interested because, why not? So anyway, keep up the awesomeness, and TGIA, woo!
Yeah. Oh, God. The Greeks would have thought I was such a dolt.
I'm sure, Dan.
That is funny. Of course, then you have to make Jesus as tiny.
Oh, the littlest.
He was the most graceful of all the world. So intelligent. Barely had a penis at all.
Oh.
Barely anything.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Suzanne.
That's pretty funny.
Perspective on Jesus' penis.
Oh, well, do we have anybody to thank?
We do, yeah. We have one new patron.
Okay.
Human.
Oh, good. Good. I hate it when animals patronize our show.
Coming in at the faithful level. So thank you very much for that. And, of course, thanks to James, our continued Lord and Savior.
Lord and Savior. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to join the ranks of the holiest of holy folks, the best of our listeners, please go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the Patreon link. That'll take you to a place where you can sign up to do a per episode donation. There are perks to doing so.
Indeed.
And it greatly helps our efforts. So thank you so much, and we bless you, our children.
Amen. So, Dan.
Oh, Frank.
We got something to talk about, right?
The Mormons, so Mormon leaks. We've talked about Mormon leaks before.
Mormon leaks.
It's
not too exciting, but...
Well, it's as exciting.
Like the most boring leaks ever.
It's as exciting as the organization it is set up to expose.
Hey, everybody, we got a video of 8 old men sitting in a room talking
about things they don't know anything about. There have been some very interesting Mormon leaks over the past little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah, some of those videos had, like, some pretty astounding things.
Yeah.
Mixed in with the boring.
Yeah.
But recently...
tedious, though.
It can be. But recently, a PowerPoint presentation was posted to there.
Oh, I love PowerPoint, Dan.
The Mormons, interestingly, successfully had it taken down.
What?
Not by the site itself, but by whomever posted it.
What?
I'm not sure how that works.
Wow, they hired in a new crack team of lawyers, let me tell you.
And some really good investigators, apparently. So, it was removed. I don't know how. But once something goes on the internet, ladies and gentlemen...
It's always on the internet.
It's never gone.
Right.
So we do have at least one of the images, and this one was the most interesting and salient of the images, I think.
All right.
And it is a slide titled, Issues and Ideas Leading People Away from the Gospel.
Oh, of course. And I bet they talk about this a lot.
Yeah,
because this is a big deal.
It is a big deal. They're
having
hemorrhaging
some retention issues.
They are hemorrhaging people.
Yeah. In this modern era where free flowing information.
Yeah, they do not like that.
No,
that is not their favorite thing.
No.
This particular slide has a bunch of bubbles, some larger than others,
Yeah.
to indicate, I think, importance.
Oh, yeah.
One would imagine of these
Size
different.
usually indicates importance.
Well,
Except in the case of
of Jesus's penis.
the most important
We're back
penis.
to the dick jokes. Yay! Jesus, You can only make the Jesus was hung joke once, but it's so right there. Anyway, this slide is also separated by far left and far right. It's sort of
like the political spectrum?
It's the political spectrum of why
Okay.
people are leaving the church, which I think is super interesting.
So, but this is actually great. You don't have to be a loony liberal.
No.
In their minds to leave the church.
They have
acknowledged
They have discovered that people are leaving on all sides.
for any possible reason.
No. Only for the following reasons. Shall I read some to you?
Okay, let's hear it.
On the far left side,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Joseph Smith's polygamy. Apparently that's a...
Oh,
big-
people find out about it.
And
It just bugs liberals.
it just, yeah.
Ooh.
I don't like it.
Conservatives, though, love Joseph Smith's liberal. Or his polygamy.
Apparently. I don't know.
They're fine with it.
Wait a minute. Sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm reading the wrong one because someone has made a
fake one?
an sort of an I fixed it version of
Oh.
it.
Okay.
So I'll read the real one first.
Okay.
Ordain women.
Ordain women.
is one of the big
That
ones.
makes more sense.
Disagree with current policies.
Yeah.
That's on the left side.
Yeah.
Incredulity over church history, which falls in line with that Joseph Smith's polygamy thing. Yeah. I like this one a lot. Secular. Huh?
So they got, those secular Mormons?
All those secular Mormons seem to be leaving the church. It's weird.
Yeah. Dude, because why would you stay?
In the middle section, and we've gone from orange to blue now.
Oh, right.
In these
These are your
bubbles.
centrists.
Yeah. The reason they're leaving, chastity. They don't like being chaste.
Wow. I didn't know. Really? A lot of loose centrists out there?
Apparently people like to fuck. Want to
What?
fuck. They want to fuck.
Okay. All right.
Along those lines, pornography. Apparently.
Really?
Yeah, that's a thing. Lack of righteousness is a reason people leave.
I bet these are not far left, far right.
No, this
Issues.
is the middle one.
No, I know, but they're also meaning these are anybody could fall away for these reasons. I bet. That's how they
Let me
present it.
tell you something. Nobody
not just
is
moderates.
falling away for these reasons.
But I'm talking.
That's
about in
not
their
a real
adult
thing.
minds.
In their minds, you're right. We'll continue on. Lack of commitment. Sabbath.
Oh well, how else do you brunch?
Well, indeed. And in fairness, they might be a little right on this one. Their version of Sabbath is the worst shit of all time. Their version of Sabbath, meaning like what happens on Sunday, is 3 hours of the most painful boredom you can imagine.
And then you have to go home to some casserole.
I'm pretty sure Gitmo uses Mormon Church as one of their torture devices.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. On the far right side, do you want to take any guesses as to what's drawing people away on the right?
God.
Or what they think is drawing people away?
I would guess that maybe they get involved in like a polygamous cult.
False prophets.
False
You got one.
prophets.
You got
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Denver Snuffer being one that's listed by name.
Really?
If you guys want to learn some interesting down the rabbit hole kooky far right Mormon shit, Google that guy because he's a nutball. Last days / end of the world predictions.
Oh, preppers.
Preppers who don't who think that the church have abandoned them.
Yeah.
On this
Read Under the Banner of Heaven, folks.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And the church has lost its way or is deficient.
Yeah. Yep.
Or in this little bubble in the bottom right hand corner, need quote something more.
Don't we all
Which-
though?
how much more do you need than Mormonism? Like, where do you go?
Inspiration.
Well, yes. But if we're talking about far right people, I feel like need something more. It means like I need to be involved in taking over a government building in Oregon or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Where does one even go for that?
But here's the deal.
Yeah.
What does it say again at the top? Reasons people leave the gospel?
Issues and ideas leading people away from the gospel.
Okay. These people have, I think, a problem with understanding that these are sort of, these are kind of the last signs that you might see.
Yeah.
These are not the things that lead people out of the church.
No.
This is the easily identifiable, checkbox on the why are you unsubscribing to this email list.
Right. Not only that, this is also, or what this is someone leaves the church and then they're mad.
Yes.
Because all of this shit that was bullshit that they believed and that they were told and stuff. And then they glom onto something that they were mad that they're mad about,
and they join up with ordained women,
right? Because ordained women is still in the church. I mean, that organization is an organization of Mormons.
Oh,
so
but with a lot of people who are out of the church, right?
Right. So I mean, after the fact, they might glom onto one of these things. No one has left the church because of their pornography addiction, because A, pornography addiction isn't a thing,
right?
And B, that's just a red herring that church people love to talk about,
right?
I mean, granted, a lot of Mormons get really hung up on porn,
right?
Largely men, right. But yes, they do get they get a sort of like a OCD, like obsession with pornography, because they had to stunt their sexual growth because of what we talked about earlier, which is Mormonism is bad for your sexuality. Oh no. So pornography is a problem in the church. And that's not why anybody leaves it.
Right.
To go out, you know what? I'm sorry, but the church is really getting in the way of my porn habit. And I choose porn.
You know those 3 hours on Sunday? It's looking pretty attractive now. It's just sit at home.
Just wank it, just hard. 3-hour sessions of just full on porno wanking. Yeah. No one has ever said that. No one has ever been like, you guys are getting real judgy about my porn use.
Right.
No, that's not how that works. Nor is people want to have sex, but let me tell you something. I know for a fact that people who really want to have sex in Mormonism don't leave the church because of it. They just do it in the bum. Or they just do it,
right?
They just float.
Right.
Or they just do some other bullshit crazy thing. Or they get married
just to have sex.
Yeah. Because 30 seconds after they meet someone.
Right.
Because both of them are like, sex? Yeah, me too. Okay, temple, let's go have sex! We have to! And then they have, a miserable 10 years and divorce each other.
Right. And then quickly have to have sex again.
Right.
Rebound marriage.
Yeah, exactly. That or, but the real reason, I mean, I think here's what we need to discuss is the real reason people leave the church, which is,
the church is bullshit.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Which should be one big circle on the PowerPoint. It just says, this is bullshit.
Well, it's more like one of them leans forward and is like, brethren, could we discuss the elephant in the room?
Shh. No, we cannot. In no way can we do that. No.
Could it possibly be that this is all bullshit?
Right. I mean, I can't believe I'm looking at this thing. I mean, disagree with current policies might count as this, but like none of it, like they don't even have a bubble. You'd think that they'd have a bubble that says gay things.
Right.
Gay stuff.
But that's what disagree with current policies is alluding to, because they've had a flood of people leave the church.
It's
over
code.
Some of these
code for gay stuff.
Yeah. And they all know what that is. But they, again, I love that they actually think that that's the reason and that that's not the last final straw.
Right.
And that for a lot of those people, they had already been out of the church for a decade.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That they are just finally now writing in the letter. Right.
Right.
I mean, clearly they're probably pulling a lot of resignation letters and going, okay, why are people saying they're leaving?
And my resignation letter to them says, because of your policies toward gay people.
Yeah.
But it's not. But I mean, that was the reason I was resigning.
Right.
That's not the reason I left the church.
Right.
They had me on their books for a decade after.
I think people
more.
need to be clear about this when they're resigning. Be like, listen, I haven't believed in years.
Right.
Your church has failed to teach me things that were useful for my life.
And failed to hold up to even the easiest of logical scrutiny.
Exactly. I have felt lied to repeatedly. And to be honest, but through all of that, I didn't want to break my mother's heart.
Right.
And so I didn't send this letter in. You've crossed the line for the last time.
Right. Yeah, you've now done something so shitty.
I'm willing to break my mother's heart.
My mom's going to have to deal with a broken heart now.
Yeah. But
I hope you're happy.
I think, though, that on this issue, she will at least understand
Right.
why.
Right. But then, of course, what happens is mom thinks that you've left the church because of the gay thing.
I don't care why my mom...
Right.
At this point, I don't care why she thinks
No.
that.
But I'm just saying...
I kind of care that the church has a good sense of why people actually leave. My mom can create any story that she wants about why I left.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, just to fucking keep the peace.
Well, but she knows that you're gay, so...
Oh, yeah.
Of course you're going to leave the church if you're gay.
Yeah. She almost left the church over it.
Really?
Within the first 24 hours, and then...
And then
she thought twice about it.
Then the defense mechanisms kicked in, and
Yeah.
we'll just make it work.
She was like, I can't believe in any God that would not accept Frankie.
Yeah. And then she could.
And then she could.
Then it was fine. Yeah. Don't worry. That's just a temporary.
But I find that a remarkable thing.
Yeah.
And if that little seed had been properly, nourished and watered and allowed to flourish.
Unfortunately, there were many seeds that had a lot
of weeds.
Yeah, that had been cultivated for decades.
Yeah.
I just think, so here's the thing. I'm going to say why I left the church. And if they're listening, they can add this to their PowerPoint.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because my story is this. I wanted to believe. I did believe. Mm-hmm. I wanted to continue to believe. Mm-hmm. I was a strong believer. Mm-hmm. But there was this one little nagging problem, which was that I had never received the promised confirmation from the magic Jesus people. Mm-hmm. I prayed. I went through a thing where I started to fast and pray and study scripture almost exclusively for a little while. There was this very awful 6-month period where I was just intense about the shit.
Wow.
It was the only thing that I cared about because it kept getting worse. I kept not getting that confirmation.
So you were just obsessing about that little line at the end of the Book of Mormon.
Yeah. Really? Well, because it kind of meant everything.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not getting that, something has gone so horribly wrong. And in the midst of all of this, I had touched some boobs and was so guilty about it. So, I had this reason why it wasn't happening. Like, oh, shit.
I caused this.
I sinned my way out of
this up. Yeah.
But I'm begging God. I'm repenting. Please don't do that. Please just make yourself known to me. And he didn't.
Why not?
I don't know.
Why do you think he didn't?
Oh, well, my conclusion then and my conclusion now differ.
Oh. What was your conclusion then?
I didn't know. It just seemed like, mysterious ways or whatever.
Ugh.
And so at some point though, it got way too intense. It was more than I could handle. And I just had to say, Lord, I'm still here. I still want this. I still want you. But I can't do this anymore because I am going crazy.
And how old were you?
like 18.
Okay.
I mean, so what was really important to me was that I understood, that I believed it before I went on a mission.
Right.
That was, at 19, I was expected to go on my mission.
Yeah.
Every 19-year-old boy in this church, you were expected to do this. But I was a person who took shit seriously. I wasn't the kind of kid who could just like lackadaisically do what was expected of me.
Right.
And go and teach a bunch of people something that I wasn't sure about.
Wow.
So it was just like, just make me sure and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
And then I went to my bishop and I was like, fuck, I didn't say fuck, but I said,
Jeez, Bishop.
Golly gee, I'm not sure about this. I've been praying for 6 months and nothing's happening.
Right.
And he said, maybe you should go to the temple. And I was like, great, because that's the Mormon idea, is that like, now I know, had I gone to that temple, it would have just freaked me the fuck out even more.
Oh, you'd have been fucked for years. He was actually doing the right thing. It would have extended your stay in the church, probably.
The confusion. And,
you would have, and the guilt would have been that much more amplified.
Right.
You know?
Because it's so fucking weird.
Oh, and you make all these promises and all these oaths, and it's things you can't even talk about.
Right.
Right? You can't you're forbidden to process these
with
promises with other people.
Right.
Right? It's stuff that you just have to keep in and internalize and let just fucking fester.
Right. But I couldn't even make it that far because he and I sat down in his office to do the temple interview.
Yeah.
And he opened the thing and he said, do you believe in God, the eternal Father, and in his Son, Jesus Christ, and in the Holy Ghost? And I said, I don't know. And he said, and he just looked at me.
Important.
He just stared at me. And I was like, oh, I have to answer yes, huh? And he kind of nodded. And I was like, well, I can't because I don't know.
Right.
And he was like, shrug. And I stood up, we shook hands, and I walked out. And that was that.
Wow.
That was the end. So yes, the reason that I left the church was I didn't believe it. I wasn't sure. And
it requires complete certainty.
Yeah.
You have to know.
Well, and the thing was, like, yeah, I still left the ball in God's court. I was like, dude, I'm still here. Let's talk.
Oh, but that's not how God works, Dan.
Apparently not.
That's not how God works. God, you have to get in there, Dan. You have to be in the mix.
Well, the
God doesn't come hunting for you. You're not Saul on the road to Damascus, Dan.
Believe me, I went looking.
Did I get that right?
I don't fucking know anymore. And here's the other thing. Like, once I gave myself permission to breathe from all of that, I was like, oh, you know what? I have all of these gay friends and I had convinced myself that it was a choice.
Right.
Because that's what I had been told. And then I started to meet people who had attempted suicide because they couldn't unchoose it.
Right.
And I was like, that's not how choices work.
Yeah.
And then I asked myself, could I choose to be gay if I wanted to choose to be gay?
Isn't that a fun thought experiment?
And nope.
Boy, it's a terrifying road you almost went down, Dan.
Believe me, if I could be gay, it would be a miracle. But that's its own thing.
No, but think about that. For most men in this world,
yeah,
right, to sit there and go, okay, I'm going to actually do this little thought experiment, and at the other end, I might be gay.
Okay, yeah.
Right? But right now I'm straight, and I know I'm straight.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to try to choose right now to be gay, but then that means that I'm gay.
Yeah.
That means I have to do all that sex stuff with men.
Right. Which, here's the fun thing about that thought experiment. It lasts 0.2 seconds. It's the easiest thought experiment in the world once you do it. Could I be gay? But let me think here. Boobs? Check. Dick? Nope. Okay, not gay. So there's that. I guess we're done with that experiment. At which point it's just well, fuck. If it's not a choice for me, and they're committing suicide trying to get out of it, right. It's not a choice for them. So that's when I stopped being Mormon. I didn't stop being Christian yet.
Yeah.
But that's when I was like, oh, Mormonism is wrong about this, clearly. Why would God make you a way and then command you not to be that thing?
Right.
that's him making a mistake, and God doesn't do that, right? And then after that, it was just like, oh, right, I get it now. It's all dumb.
So you're in college at this point.
Yeah, ish. No, I mean, I took some time off, so I was college age.
College age.
But yeah, I was like sort of 19-year-old when I realized, oh, no, this is all poop.
Long hair Dan. Was this long hair Dan?
My hair's...
Not yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
Not
okay.
yet. That happened a little later, but... And it was brief. But fun.
Long hair?
Yeah.
Had to take a while to grow that much hair.
Yeah, but it was like, I mean, it was like a year and a half, and then I got a part in a show, and they were like, "Hey, you want to cut your hair?" And I was like, "Sure."
Oh, okay. Well,
I always felt like a short-haired guy who happened to have long hair at that moment in his life.
Oh, interesting.
I never felt like a long-haired guy.
It was a lie.
I was
You were living a lie, Dan.
That's a story. That is a topic for another podcast. I'll tell you that.
Is there anything else in this?
No, I mean, your story. I mean, probably was tied a lot more to the fact that you were gay. I'm guessing when you left. The church.
Yes and no. Not that dissimilar, actually, in some ways. I had always.
Except you got suckered into the mission.
Well, right, because I was trying to do all the things that I thought would lead to knowledge that the church was true.
Right.
And so I was actually willing to sort of say all the right answers, right, to all the questions. I knew what the right answers were.
Right.
I didn't sit there and go, oh, wait.
You didn't, I don't know. You don't actually think about them. You just respond correctly.
Right, exactly.
I know the right answers to the test. Meanwhile, I was like, you're asking my opinion.
Right.
And
So anyways,
then the smoke came out of my ears.
So I lied through the whole thing. I got myself in the temple, moderately freaked out.
Yeah.
Convinced myself, though, that there must be something of value there.
Sure.
And went a handful of times more. I probably went a total of 12 times in my whole life. And then went on the mission. Struggled with the Joseph Smith story for me. That was the hard one. I just really, I didn't have a quote unquote testimony of Joseph Smith.
Right.
And so I was after the mission and it never really materialized. I was at BYU. Like I was really just trying to do all the right stuff. And I was lying in bed one night in my on-campus housing at BYU. And I kind of just did this little like, well, I don't believe that Joseph Smith was a prophet, right? And
well,
so,
that'll unravel some shit real quick.
right. And so I was like, okay, so if Joseph Smith didn't have this little first vision thing and he didn't get the Book of Mormon, then the Book of Mormon must just be this made up thing.
Yeah.
And then if that's all, like, why am I trying to gain this testimony of this thing that ultimately,
it's fairly obvious
requires
to you.
this little circular little dance to make it work. And then I was like, well, then the church that any church that's basing itself on this book is fake and made up and the product of man. And so I was just like, well, fuck it. And so I was like, I don't believe the church is true then. And I sat there and then I was like, okay, well, if I don't believe the church is true, do I want to find a different church? Is that important to me? And then I was like, well, while we're at this whole little thing of I don't really buy that story or this story, do I think that Jesus Christ was divine and is my Lord and Savior? And I was like, nope. And I was like, okay, let's go back another step then. Do I believe in God? I don't really think so.
I mean, I'm checking.
And so I was like, so I just sat there and I was like, okay, then I'm going to see what happens if I just, for a minute, it was kind of this little experiment thing but it worked. This one worked. What does it mean? What does it mean for me to say, I don't believe in God?
Right.
And so I sat there and I kind of just processed it for a minute.
And suddenly,
and then I was like,
3 of your hairs came out in rainbow colors.
But the gay thing, I do have to say, I feel like maybe it allowed me to exist in another space, but it wasn't the reason.
Right.
I didn't go down that,
That's really
that
interesting.
path, that sort of logical path,
Right.
because of my feelings toward men.
Right.
Right. That wasn't that didn't bring on that discussion.
That's really
at all,
interesting. Yeah.
right? And so then it was, okay, well, now I don't have any of these weird limitations that I've been placing on myself. So
Because you had successfully navigated, like, repressing the gay.
I mean,
ish.
Yeah, I mean,
at very least, you had found a space for the gayness.
I knew I was gay,
but you had found a nice little Mormon place for it.
Yeah, well, I was trying desperately to find that place.
Right.
I don't think I ever found it.
Sure.
If I'd found it, I would be married and have kids.
Oh, God.
Right?
Yeah.
How awful would that be?
But it's interesting because that's not what drove you away. You having been driven away is what opened up the space for you to go, oh,
yeah,
I can just be gay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something I can finally just accept about myself.
I don't have to fight. I don't have to do anything. I can just be me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is man.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, how do I feel about booze, coffee, and tobacco?
And I'm guessing that the answer to that was, hooray!
Yeah. Tobacco and me never really got along too great.
Right.
Especially after it destroyed a pair of my jeans.
Oh, dear.
I burned a hole clean through a pair of my favorite jeans with a stupid cigarette.
Don't fuck with that gay man's fashion.
I was so mad. I didn't touch a cigarette for like 5 years after that. Because I was starting to have like the habit of like, all my friends smoked when they drank.
Right.
And a lot of them went home and continued to smoke.
Right.
And so I was kind of starting down that path. And thank God, actually, I burned a hole in those jeans.
Right.
How terrifying, though.
Literally, I thank God for that.
Like, I could have burned myself.
Oh, my, yeah.
But instead, it fell into a cuff.
Oh.
And just scorched, like, down the back of my shoe as well. Oh. That pissed me off, too.
So go ahead and tell us why you left your church. And those of you who were never part of a church, no bragging. We don't need to hear it. Anyway, if you left a church, tell us why. You can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and tell us using your voice.
Which we love to hear.
In a voicemail.
Yeah.
424-666-8442 is the number.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. I'm sure a healthy conversation will happen there. But also,
while you're on Facebook,
yeah,
search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It's a closed group, but you can have this conversation. Nobody else that you know on Facebook needs to know
that you're having this conversation. I've been informed, by the way, that Facebook, which is the basket into which all of our social media eggs are placed, makes us old. But how do you have a conversation on Instagram? You can't!
Send me a picture of your dissatisfied face.
Right, fuck that shit.
What did your face look like when you left your church?
Yep.
But we don't have Instagram, so you can't send it.
But you could maybe you can go to Greg Locke's Instagram and see how gay.
All right, what else?
We
need to thank Mackenzie for all of her hard work on Facebook.
Yes.
Conversation going.
She's amazing. Thanks to Amy, Sarah, and Danny for their work as moderators on the Members Only Lounge, keeping everybody in check.
And thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music.
And Gordon Johnston for the use of his fine organing. And thank you, dear listener, for tuning in. Oh, and you know what? Let's thank our patrons as well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, all of our patrons, for donating.
You guys are so generous. It's so appreciated.
It's a privilege for us to get your money, and we really we don't take it for granted. And thank you, dear listeners, all for tuning in to our silly little program each week.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
That was better.